Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
The Speaker, I seek leave to make a personal explanation under Standing Order 354.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the House. Mr. Speaker, in recent weeks, a number of allegations have been made against Mr. Horan, most of which arise from a family matter, and Mr. Horan is an MP in New Zealand First. The allegations are of a nature that requires they should be treated seriously.
Order. I apologise for interrupting the Right Honourable Member, but a personal explanation can only be made with regard to a matter relating to the member personally. And if the matter that he's describing does impinge on the Right Honourable gentleman personally, then he's perfectly at liberty to make the personal explanation. But a member cannot make a personal explanation on matters relating to another member. And I'm absolutely certain I'm right in that matter. I do apologise for interrupting, but the member must relate the personal explanation to matters that affect him personally. Does the member wish to continue the Right Honourable Winston Peters?
Point of order. The fact is that a number of serious allegations have been made, and I was required to conduct as full an inquiry as I could, and I want to report the results of my personal inquiry to the House.
Well, because I don't want to act unilaterally, I'll hear the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I think there was possibly an error on the House's part at the beginning, because normally when people ask to make personal explanations, they are asked for an explanation which then restricts the area on which they can comment. Now, the problem we have as a House is that we have granted leave, which you are now bound to protect, I think, without restricting the area in a way that we now appear to be retrospectively trying to do. And I think if the honourable gentleman had explained it was about Mr. Horan, the House would have said no. I think if he said it was about an investigation that he had undertaken, we would have said yes.
The Honourable Jerry Brown.
Well, Mr. Speaker, you're not in a difficult position. The member sought leave to make a personal explanation. That's all. If it's not a personal explanation, leave is not granted.
I think I to go back to the point raised by the Honourable Trevor Mallard. He is correct that, and I blame myself, I should have sought from the Right Honourable Winston Peters a brief indication of what the matter was he wished to make a personal explanation about. I failed to do that, and I blame myself for that. However, a personal explanation is a personal explanation, and the member himself, where the matter of the issue around which the member wishes to make a personal explanation must relate to that member themselves. A member cannot make a personal explanation about other matters, and an investigation into other matters do not constitute a personal explanation. The allegation that a member is responding to must relate to a matter affecting the member personally. And even though the House may have granted leave for a personal explanation to be made, if one is not forthcoming, then it is not in order to proceed. And there are already Speaker's rulings that cover that issue. I'll hear first from the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
I have plenty of precedent for what I'm seeking to do. You'll recall that in 1996 I sought leave to explain the future of one of the members of the New Zealand First Caucus. And that was granted, and it was seen as being personal enough, being the leader of a party, for it to be relevant and within the ambit of Standing Orders 354. No one else has conducted the inquiry. I have, and I'm bound to report a most serious matter to this House.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I also invite you to balance the various Speaker's rulings that there are as to what is a personal matter, and the leader of the New Zealand First Party has indicated that he is going to outline some work that he has personally been doing, with the long-standing and I think never tipped over Speaker's ruling that leave once given cannot be withdrawn.
The I'll hear from the Honourable Jerry Brown, because I accept this is an important issue, and I certainly do not want to unreasonably constrain the rights of a member of this House. The Honourable Jerry Brown.
Mr. Speaker, I think just point to you to 1345. It's very clear what a personal explanation is, and that is long-standing in the House. And you are right to say that if someone proceeds to discuss something that is not personal to them and involve them personally, it is not provided for in this provision. However, the House is the master of its own destiny, and if maybe a way through this would be for the member to seek leave to make a statement on a matter that relates to an investigation into another member of Parliament.
The House is certainly the master of its own destiny, and my concern about the personal explanation process is that while the House, a Speaker in the past may have made an unusual ruling, the rulings are very clear, and the Leader of the House has referred to 1345, and this is a long-standing accepted requirement that a personal explanation must relate to an allegation made against the person seeking to make the explanation. However, the House is at liberty. I'm prepared to rule that the personal explanation granted and not continue, because it is not a personal explanation. But I'm perfectly happy to put leave. Well, for the member, I'm not sure how best to handle this now. Whether the member seeks the leave of the House, it's probably best for the member to seek the leave of the House to make a statement, and the House is at liberty to grant that leave should the member wish to do that on that matter. Point of order. I'll hear first from the Honourable John Banks, since I haven't heard from him.
Leave of the House for the Honourable Winston Peters to make a statement to the House.
Leave is... I think it's probably more appropriate for the member himself to seek leave to make a statement to the House. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to make a serious statement to the House, and not a long one at that.
On the identifying the matter so that the House knows exactly.